My name is Brianna Sinclair, and this is my 45th week on HRT. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe. If there's anything that you would like for me to cover, please put that in the comments below, and I'll add that to my list of videos that I'm working through to make for my guests. You can also join me on my other social medias. I have a Blue Sky and a Discord, so if you'd like to join me there and ask questions there in a different light, feel free to do so. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. As I said, this is my 45th week on HRT. Quick measurements update. My hips are 35 inches. My bust is 36 and 3/4. My waist is 24 and 3/4. So what I'm taking away from that is that my bust has grown 1/4 inch, and I do plan to do what I've always done and wait till next week to see if that measurement is confirmed, or if that measurement reverts back to the 36 and a half. Sorry, it's really warm. I guess my bust has started to grow a little bit quicker, which is honestly kind of nice, and I'm not 100% sure what's attributing to the increase in growth, but I am sufficiently happy with it, because that just kind of means that my body's changing a little bit more, and I'm noticing it a lot better. My emotional state. I feel like for the most part my emotional state is pretty stable. I'm still working through things and trying to get my life back on track. But for the most part, I'm in complete control of my emotions. And I think that's very important, because a big talking point is that our hormones make us unstable. They change our emotional state for a little bit and the way we feel things forever, but they don't it's not something that makes you crazy. Whenever I first started, I remember my emotional state being a little bit different at first, and then I think after the first 3 months or so, I was normal. I was fine. But for the first 3 months, I was crying all the time. I was very emotional, very into my emotions and stuff like that, which I kind of knew would happen, but not necessarily to that degree. I guess you never really know until you actually go through it. But it was a wonderful experience, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And now that my emotions have kind of leveled off, I feel it's a good experience. It's well, not experience, it's a good point to be back to. Just because I'm in control again. Hair reduction. My hair reduction I don't think it's really decreased between last week and this week. Overall, it has decreased tremendously. I used to have to shave every other day. Now I can get away with shaving once a week, but even though an entire week has passed, my hair growth is still not as intense as it was between day to day, which is wild to me. Breast growth. Obviously my bust is still growing, as that is the only measurement that's changed between last week and this week. And is honestly the primary changing one. That one has changed the most throughout my transition, just because I'm going from having pectorals, traditionally flat chested, to actually having breasts. So I don't think it's really a surprise that one would change pretty tremendously in frequently because that tissue is being developed. They still do hurt, and occasionally it's really bad, but I've noticed they don't hurt whenever, like, I pad my bra to kind of, like, keep my bra from, like, pressing in on, like, my chest, or if I'm wearing, like, a push-up bra. I don't really know why on the push-up bra, because I feel like it would create more, because it's more pushing in. If anyone can explain that to me, please let me know, because that one I'm not 100% sure on. I just know that that's kind of what I'm feeling towards that. Fat redistribution. Between last week and this week, I have noticed literally nothing, which I guess is good. Because I guess, like, that kind of means, A, my hip measurements are accurate, and that I'm actually, like, seeing a little bit being deposited in my hips. But not really anywhere else. Over the course of my transition, I think the first place that, like, fat was being put was, like, my face. I'm assuming that that's just because that's where my body stores most of its immediate fat. For whatever reason. That one I'm not 100% sure on. That's just what was noticed immediately. And then finally it's been starting to be deposited, like, in my hips, which also kind of, like, encompasses, like, my butt, because that's where that measurement's taken. It goes, like, through around the widest part of my hips, obviously encompassing the butt, to get that measurement as well. So yes, sex drive. My sex drive is going up and down. Some days it feels like it's really high, other days it's, like, ungodly low. So I'm pretty sure it's mostly emotional based at this point. As I've discussed previously, demisexuality was more of an option for me because I'm a hopeless romantic, and I need that emotion. I wanted that emotional connection, to be intimate with my partner. Now it is a requirement. It is a hard requirement that I actually need that connection, that, like, that companionship. I need that. Maybe companionship's not the right word. I guess just emotional. We'll just stick with emotional connection on that one. I can perform and, like, please my partner, but as for pleasing me, it is, like, significantly harder than it used to be, which that I knew was coming. That has been a thing for months, but it's just a little weird. It's a little different now. Like, before it was mostly physical, like, you could just, it was like, I guess you could say, like, the closest comparison that would be PG would be, like, if you've ever played the game Guitar Hero or something like that, where it was clicking the buttons at the exact moment. That's very mechanical, very touchy-feely. Whereas, like, now, it's almost whimsical, where, it's more emotions required. There is a little physical portion that is not necessarily... There is a physical portion that is required, but it's not as solely that anymore, which is fine, and honestly preferred, because that means it is Even though it is harder, it is a bit more worth it if your partner is willing to put in the work and do that for you. Now that we're off that topic, because that one I feel like got a little bit more in depth than my other explanations of that specific category. Me being tired. I'm still trying to wean myself off of energy drinks so I can get truly focused on my voice therapy, because drinking energy drinks and soda is supposed to, it's not good for your voice or your voice therapy. So I only drink it, I try to only drink energy drinks the first little bit for whenever my testosterone drops, whenever my medications increase, and I try and wean myself back off. I'm currently in the process of trying to wean myself back off, but it's not going very well. But I will eventually. Muscle development. I am still very toned and muscular, unfortunately. My physical physique still kind of gives me a masculine outlook, which is okay. It's just kind of annoying, because it's not annoying, it's just dysphoric. I cannot speak at all today. Sorry, it's been a long day for me, and my words are not all there because it's been a hectic day, and I've had a hectic time between all of my jobs and coordinating X, Y, and Z. I definitely know that across my transition, my muscle capacity has decreased. I'm not able to lift what I used to. I'm not able to do what I used to. But I'm still able to, I still have endurance. Not as much, but for the most part, all the endurance that I used to have, which is very nice. I like to run and stuff like that, so knowing that I can go as long as I used to is very nice. Knowing that the recovery time is longer, not so nice, because it'll be 3 or 4 days where my legs will just kill me after I run for a solid hour. This week I was able to return to work in my clothes that I'm supposed to wear for work, and I was extremely happy about it because I do take pride in what I do, and I was more angry than anything after getting yelled at for being in my clothes and not having my hair cut, because why would I cut my hair if I've got my exception to policy, which may have been revoked, but my subset chain of command said they were putting me on administrative leave to not dehumanize me if I have to be removed from my job, which is okay. I was welcome back Monday. I think they said it was being discussed, and I had asked them I would, if possible, I can meet y'all in the middle. I can show up in my regular clothes, and I can still work and do everything that I would normally do. This way there's accountability over me, and I'm still able to continue my transition. My immediate superior said, no, we're going to continue the way that we have been, because it's working. There's no reason we should continue otherwise. Which essentially meant I could do what I wanted as long as I was working on stuff. And I needed to go in the next day. This was Tuesday. And they told me then that Wednesday, because of some legal stuff that was going on, I can return to work in my work clothes, and my exception to policy will be reinstated. I'm hoping that what's going on will be found discriminatory and illegal in the Supreme Court. And I'm hoping that I will be able to do what I'm doing and show that transgender women are not weak, because we're not. We're very strong and amazing women. And the trans men, equally amazing. As far as my voice therapy goes, I don't think it's changing a whole lot. I did notice that someone said that they were able to achieve a feminine voice after like 3 sessions with their voice therapist. I envy you, first off. I wish that I wish I had a truly feminine voice. My voice gives me away more than anything, and I know that. I'm aware of that. So it hurts whenever, like, I get misgendered and I look truly feminine. And I know it's because of my voice, because they'll use she and her pronouns before I say anything. And then it'll be straight he and him whenever I start talking. I'm like, damn. So close. I'm almost passable. But not quite yet. If I was mute, I could pass all day long, but I'm not. This week I've started to, like, work through, I got a calendar to kind of, like, organize my appointments, because my, work did say that, like, we're putting everything on hold, but only go to the appointments that, you've already scheduled in order to essentially leave your job. So I've started to do all of that. I've started to, like, check out of, like, our medical program, slowly, our dental program, and a couple other things. And it's not easy. I know I'm still checking out medical-wise. They wanted to check, they wanted to take a blood sample, make sure everything was okay, and my hemoglobin wasn't doing too well, so they're outsourcing me to a hematologist to do an in-depth look, and I'm told that should be from my HRT and, like, probably my diet and lack of sleep. That would probably be my guess as to what's causing my my red blood count my hemoglobin count to be so low. But we'll see. And I'll let you know how that goes. Next week, I have every day next week is a class for me to slowly get prepared to join, like, the normal world, because where I'm at right now is not normal. But I'm excited I'm excited, and also it's sad to, like, quit my job, or I guess be fired from my job. And I'm also, like, excited and sad to, like, the way things are going, because there were good times and bad times in my job. For the most part, I thought they were good times, but it is what it is, and I'm hoping that in a couple years I'll be asked to rejoin, well, come back to my job, and I can continue out my contract. I have kind of decided that I'm going to, if I have to sign another contract, I'm not signing another one unless I can sneak a couple like transgender things in there, so that way it'll help keep people from being discriminated against. Because I don't think discrimination against us is okay. We're people, just like anyone else. We deserve the same rights and treatment as anyone else. I don't think it's that hard to understand. I just think that people think that we're a bunch of predators, and that's not what we are. I was afraid of being viewed as that early on in my transition, because I didn't know who to ask. My mom wasn't talking to me. I didn't have a whole lot of female friends, so like the makeup store I work at is predominantly women, and most of them I was pretty close with. So I started asking them, because at the time I didn't know if I had breast cancer or not, and I didn't know if that was something that like I could just go to my doctor, because in order to talk to my doctor, it takes like a month. So I just asked, like, when y'all's breasts are growing, like, do they hurt? And my associates unanimously said, yes, it hurts incredibly. And they said, why, are yours hurting? I said, yes, they are. My chest is in excruciating pain. This hurts. And they're like, they were really excited, because they're like, ooh, they're growing, they're budding. And I was more like, I wish y'all had said something. And that's fine. I felt like the lack of knowledge on that was definitely my fault. I didn't look into it as well as I should have, but it is what it is. Whenever I was a kid, I was in an unfortunate changeover where whenever we were supposed to be learning about like sexual education and stuff like that, and human anatomy and stuff, it was more focused towards like the mental aspect of things, and that switched over to where the second year, instead of being physical, was also mental. So I got 2 rounds of like the mental shenaniganry. So I guess I was very ill prepared for like what I was expecting as far as like breast growth goes, because I kind of just assumed it wouldn't be very painful and it would just kind of happen over time. But I'm not like super upset about it. If anything, the pain is kind of like reassuring, because it's like it lets me know that, like, they're still growing. They still got like volume to achieve. I've started to book my electrolysis appointments because I want to get rid of like the rest of my facial hair. After a long day at work and my makeup and stuff, my color corrector sometimes shows through, and I don't like that. Seeing the little bit of orange just kind of like depresses me a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, look at you trying to hide your facial hair. Initially I quit because I couldn't afford it, but things are starting to get financially better, so I'm gonna start booking appointments again, because I think I've got a year where I'm at, and then I move somewhere for another 3 years. I don't know where that's gonna be. I'm hoping down to Georgia. I'm hoping I get moved down to Georgia again. But if I get stationed, well, if I get moved to Hawaii or something like that, like, I'll still have fun. I'm still going to do what I can, and I'm still going to continue everything the best I can. I don't know what's going to happen to my channel, because there's sometimes where, like, I don't have access to internet for a while. So I guess I might have to put a friend in charge of my channel and preemptively record videos for everyone, so that way everyone knows that I'm still here, still supporting them, and still going through my journey. I'm still working out, like, how to mount my camera so that way I can do an adequate makeup tutorial for everyone. I don't plan to speed it up. I plan to go through the entire process. I imagine this video will take 30 to 40 minutes at least, because I'm going to start immediately after I shave. Like, after I shave is where I'm going to start. And I'm excited for it. A little scared because everyone's going to see me without makeup, but I'm excited to kind of, like, show everyone that, like, my makeup transformation is not that glamorous. I know everyone kind of, like, thinks that, like, it's this big thing. I was a very feminine boy, and I was blessed that way, which I guess is just why a lot of girls, most girls didn't like me, because they were like, I don't want a boy that I have to defend and stuff like that. I want, like, a man that can defend me and take care of me. I can take care of myself, first off. Second off, I don't really care who my partner is. I know that there's someone out there. So if they don't like me, they don't like me. And that is their problem. I'm still packing up in case I am asked to leave my job and I have to move, which is fine. Honestly, it's fine. There's some clothes I don't pack up. It's mostly my favorite outfits and my work outfits. But most of my clothes I do pack up. I guess I'm just kind of like just anticipating the worst. I did tell my ex my plan, because as we're business partners, so it's important that we communicate as though we're still married. And I try to. I discussed with her about my contract plan, and she was all for it, because she's very much into trans rights, being a trans woman herself. And I'm just doing my part to help solidify that. I don't think equality is disputable. And everyone that I know was treated or taught a couple basic principles. And some of those are like, treat people how you'd want to be treated. So I feel like if people are discriminatory, they would want to be discriminated against, which which is ironic because usually whenever they are discriminated against, they raise the biggest problems. I know because I get complaints even at my makeup job just for doing my job, which is funny to me. It makes me and my managers laugh, and I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with it. I know some people might ask me if I regret my transition, because in my transition I've lost my marriage, I'm losing my job potentially, I'm losing many opportunities, and the answer is no. I regret not transitioning sooner and focusing on myself sooner. I could have avoided a lot of heartache and pain had I done that. But you live and you learn. I learned that, like, if there's something that's bothering you, you should probably figure it out instead of trying to live with it for decades. I spent a quarter of my life as a boy. And I plan to spend the next 3/4 as a woman. And I plan to leave this earth as a woman. I know a bunch of people are disagreeing that I'm even a woman. And for those people, I happily welcome the debate. Happily. Above all, I do not tolerate transphobia on my channel. I created this channel to help people and to create a community where people can ask questions, they can learn, and they can see what it's like. I didn't have this, and that's why I'm creating it. Not for me. Well, this is partially for me. It helps me organize my thoughts and also, like, tracks my progress with me. And occasionally, yeah, I sit down and watch my own videos because I think it's wild to see how far I've come, to see the change that's ensued. Whenever I click on my first video and I look in the mirror, I just think, oh, wow, that's so different. I've changed so much in such a short amount of time. I'm not even 100% sure that my family will fully recognize me if I saw them dressed up. I haven't seen my youngest siblings in 2 years. I haven't seen any of my siblings, to be honest with you, in 2 years. But I hope that whenever they see me, they're not completely disgusted. Because I was raised in a very southern state with very transphobic and homophobic values that I clearly never held dear. And I'm hoping that those aren't held against me. But if they are, it is what it is. I do think that that is enough for tonight. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe. On my channel, I post mostly transgender content in regards to my transition and answer questions of those who view and decide to comment. So if you'd like to see something specific, please comment down below. And if you want to, you can join me on my Discord and my Blue Sky. And with that being said, this is Brianna Sinclair, signing off.